Well, with more on the state of the race, with now just 12 days to go, I'd like to welcome in Democratic and Harris campaign strategist Jenna Arnold and Republican strategist Bobby Eberle. Thank you both for your time. Certainly appreciate it with 12 days to go. Jenna, I'd like to start with you. And I want to start with Harris's remarks at last night's town hall. She was addressing undecided voters. She's been criticized for some non-answers to pointed questions. I'd like to play some of what we heard last night. She was asked about her border wall flip-flops, her economic policy, even calling Trump a fascist.
Let's just fix the problem.
To fix the problem, you're doing this compromise bill. It does call for $650 million that was earmarked under Trump to actually still go to build the wall.
I'm not afraid of good ideas where they occur, Anderson.
So you don't think it's stupid anymore?
It is the case in the United States of America that billionaires, on average, pay less taxes as a percentage than teachers and firefighters and nurses.
I'm talking about hard workers like pound the street, have some success.
Yes, no, I understand. I think that perhaps a weakness, some would say, but I actually think it's a strength, is I really do value having a team of very smart people around me.
You've quoted General Milley calling Donald Trump a fascist. You yourself have not used that word to describe him. Let me ask you tonight, do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
All right. So Jenna, this question is for you. We know the race is so tight at this point. Every vote matters. Is this going to convince undecided voters to support her?
You know, Nicole, you opened the segment with suggesting that she didn't have a lot of answers to some of those big questions that are often coming toward this party from the right about the border, about the economy, about security, and then certainly about the character of who Donald Trump is. And I think she actually answered them with a lot of concreteness. The border is something that is going to require a multi-pronged approach to it. As we all know, there was a bill that was put forward that Trump killed in November so that he could continue to blame the Democrats for what's happening at the border. And I think she was clear that in some cases, there's probably walls. In some cases, there's more law enforcement. And then in a lot of cases, it's about paying attention to what's happening in the Golden Triangle, in which she has spent the past couple of years going down to the root cause of why so many people are going to the border. When it comes to the economy, the idea that a president, be it the next administration, the former, or even Trump's, has a tremendous amount of influence on it is a myth that I think is an unhealthy thing to peg on a single administration. And when it comes to describing who Donald Trump is, I would urge your viewers to Google what fascism is, because there's so many terms, be it socialism, communism, fascism, that people continue to throw around as if they really understand the nuances of that definition. And it's kind of complex, but all of the people in history that were also considered fascists are not the kinds of people that we want to affiliate our country with.
All right. So, Bobby, over to you. Talking about the answers last night, do you believe those types of responses to direct questions are helping Trump potentially, who also many times gives long answers, many times veers from the topic at hand, and opted out of appearing at what was supposed to be a debate between the two?
Well, yeah, I don't think any of these public appearances actually helps Kamala Harris at all, because, I mean, she couldn't even address whether she liked the border wall when pressed and pressed and pressed. She talks about price controls, which only lead to shortages. That's basic economics. And it's pretty clear that what they would have liked is to continue on Biden's basement strategy. That's what they started, to keep her hidden, and that wasn't working. They saw once the momentum wore off, the glamour wore off, that she needed to get out there. But every time she does, she makes a statement about things that need to be changed, that hadn't been changed, that need to be changed. And it just makes for fun sound bites for the right, but it also reinforces to those undecided voters that, hey, this person, you know, we saw how the economy was. We saw that people weren't making decisions between, do you buy food or do you pay rent? And life was better under President Trump. And that's the key decision. That's when people break at the end, they're going to break for their pocketbooks and their families. And those issues line up with Trump.
All right. So we know at this point, I think it's safe to say most people have likely made up their minds. And we are seeing extremely high early voting numbers, record-breaking in some areas. Jenna, for you, which side do you think this may be benefiting the most? I mean, especially because considering this year, Republicans are really pushing their supporters to get out and vote early.
Yeah, I appreciate that question, which I will come back to. But Bobby, I have a really hard time with some of the sound bites that you offered. It feels like it was just like sent to a marketing firm that's like writing copy, like Biden basement economics, as a friendly reminder that the vice president doesn't make policy. They advise the president on policy, and they are available to step in should something happen to the president. So this theory that she should have done like some sweeping changes over the past 4 years is like basic understanding of the executive branch and the specific role of that office. I also want to point out that the economy, thanks to Obama and thanks to, frankly, many of the Bushes before Trump, was very much stabilized until we went into COVID, of which we all know Trump completely bobbled. I will point out that I am very cautious, and I know that all of the news channels and all of the papers, and frankly, even all of the folks on the social medias, I just sounded like my mom in the way that I described that, are really excited about suggesting that this is close. And I'm currently attending this conversation with the two of you from Bucks County, Pennsylvania, one of the swingiest counties in the country, a canary in the coal mine for banning moral and value-based books. And I spend my days driving up and down those roads, and I do see a tremendous amount of Harris signs. I also see massive Trump signs. It makes me uncomfortable to suggest that this is razor thin, but I can say with confidence that while it feels close, I would much rather be on my team than theirs.
So who do you think the early voting is helping at this point?
I would say the Dems, but I don't actually know. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's just like anyone who's civically concerned and paying attention wants to get that vote in. It feels like the 2022 and 2020 cycles favored the Dems, but I think the entire world is paying attention to this election, and I don't think it's fair to say, oh, Republicans or Democrats vote early.
And I agree. I think it is very difficult to tell right now, and it will be interesting to see how the numbers shake out based on how the polling, what those numbers have shown up until and through the election. Bobby, over to you now. We know that the former president, he is in battleground Arizona today, so many battleground states. He lost Arizona by the narrowest margin of any state back in 2020. He's gaining ground there, but the polls show the race is still neck and neck there in Arizona. What does he need to do to try to secure that state?
Well, he needs to keep pushing his agenda and remind people, as he started in these last couple rallies, are you better off now than you've been in these last 4 years, 4 years ago? And just to address the basement strategy, that's a campaign strategy, not a governing strategy. And when Harris brags about being the last person in the room on the debacle in Afghanistan and saying that she wouldn't change any of Biden's policies, then it's hard to run as a change candidate when you want to do the same thing. But Trump's closing argument is just going to be that he has the plan, the issues are on his side, and he definitely needs to win Arizona. It's going to come down to the blue wall, but the momentum, more than money, more than charisma in these home stretch, is momentum. And we've seen Real Clear Politics average all the battleground states moving toward Trump, and that's exactly the position you want to be coming into here. Republicans in Texas here, Nevada, other places are leading on early voting, which is also a great change. I voted on the first day, which Republicans love to stay till the end and vote on election day. So I think the momentum's on our side, and that is key.
And yeah, we will see what shakes out in 12 days. Bobby Eberle, Jenna Arnold, thank you both. Really appreciate it.
All right, friends, thanks again for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And before you go, please hit that subscribe button above. Once you do, tell your friends, share it, spread the word about the 13-minute news hour so we can keep growing. And for more great content, check out these videos right here, and I'll see you next time.